Cubs Nation, hold on to your seats, because what I'm about to tell you will shake the very foundations of Wrigley Field and send shockwaves through every corner of Chicago. We're living through a moment that will be talked about for generations, and if you think you know what's happening with your beloved Cubbies, think again, because this story has more twists than a knuckleball in the wind. Right now, as I speak to you, there's an MVP caliber slugger who's delivering everything we dreamed of and more. But there's a cloud hanging over his head that could change everything. There's a young phenom who's not just breaking expectations, he's absolutely obliterating them and making analysts predict he'll be a top 3 player in all of baseball by 2030. And then there's the front office drama that's got Jed Hoyer sweating bullets as the trade deadline approaches, with one particular ace's value crashing faster than a Cubs rally in the 9th inning. Cubs fans, you know that feeling when you're watching a game at Wrigley and everything seems perfect? The ivy's green, the crowd's electric, and then suddenly something happens that makes your heart skip a beat? That's exactly what's happening right now with our team. Except this isn't just one game. This is the entire trajectory of our franchise hanging in the balance. If you're reading this and your heart isn't already pounding, then you haven't been paying attention to what's really going down in Cubs land. Hit that like button right now because you're going to want to share this with every Cubs fan you know. And make sure you're subscribed, because this story is just getting started. The first bombshell involves our winter acquisition, who's been absolutely raking all season long. But just when everything seemed perfect, disaster struck in the most unexpected way possible. You think you know what happened? You have no idea how deep this rabbit hole goes. Kyle Tucker. That name should be music to every Cubs fan's ears right now. Remember when we traded Isaac Paredes, Hayden Wesneski, and Cam Smith to Houston last winter? Cubs Nation was split. Some called it genius, others questioned giving up that much talent. Well, let me tell you something. That trade is looking like highway robbery in our favor. This 3-time All-Star has been absolutely unconscious at the plate, slashing .283 and .391, .520 with 12 bombs, 39 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases through just 58 games. Tucker's not just contributing, he's leading this team like a man possessed. Second on the team in batting average, first in on-base percentage, first with 63 hits. The man is a hitting machine that's got the entire National League Central shaking in their cleats. But here's where the story takes a heart-stopping turn that had Cubs fans across Chicago holding their breath. Sunday's game against the Reds started like any other Tucker masterclass, but in the 5th inning, our MVP candidate had to leave the game. The broadcast was speculating injury, and Cubs Nation collectively felt their stomachs drop. Reports came flooding in. Tucker had jammed his right finger, but that wasn't even the worst part. He also took a pitch to the body and possibly injured his head or face while sliding, all in the 1st inning, and this warrior played through it for 4 more innings before finally having to exit. Cubs fans, do you realize what we're looking at here? This is the guy who's helped us build a 3.5-game lead atop the NL Central. This, is the cornerstone of an offense that ranks 3rd in MLB with a .785 OPS. Tucker isn't just a player, he's the heartbeat of this Cubs resurgence. And seeing him leave that game was like watching our championship dreams potentially walk off the field with him. The good news? The Cubs held on to win 5-2, proving this team has fight even when their star goes down. But Cubs Nation, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. Tucker's health is going to determine whether we're buyers or sellers at the deadline, whether we're making a playoff run or planning for next year. And speaking of next year, wait until you hear what one analyst is predicting about our next superstar. If you thought Kyle Tucker was the only Cubs player making national headlines, then you clearly haven't been paying attention to the absolute phenomenon that is Pete Crow Armstrong. Cubs Nation, we're witnessing the birth of a superstar right before our eyes. And what I'm about to tell you will have you jumping out of your seats. PCA. And yes, we need to start calling him by his nickname because this kid is about to become a household name. He's currently ranked 3rd among all MLB players in FWAR. Let that sink in for a moment. 3rd in all of baseball. His 3.2 WAR trails only Aaron Judge and MLB analyst Joel Reuter just dropped a prediction that will blow your mind. He's projecting Crow Armstrong to be the 3rd best player in all of baseball by 2030. Think about that for a second, Cubs fans. Reuters ranked our 23-year-old center fielder ahead of superstars like James Wood, Jackson Merrill, Gunnar Henderson, and Elly De La Cruz. The only players he put ahead of PCA were Paul Skeens and Bobby Witt Jr. We're talking about a Cubs player being mentioned in the same breath as the absolute elite of this sport. But here's what's got Cubs Nation buzzing with excitement. Reuters wrote something that should give every fan chills. The Cubs have been lacking a true face of the franchise in recent years and thought they had found one with their trade for Kyle Tucker during the offseason. But there is a strong case to be made that Crow Armstrong has leapfrogged him into that role with his early breakout performance. Can you believe it? We went into this season thinking Tucker would be our franchise player, and now we might have discovered an even bigger star was already in our own backyard. PCA isn't just hitting. He's being called one of the best defensive players in all of baseball. His combination of defense, base running, and this newfound hitting ability has created a perfect storm of talent that has Cubs fans dreaming of multiple championships. Remember, this is the same kid who struggled at the plate in his rookie year with a WRC plus of just 87. Now he's putting up numbers that have him ranked above established superstars and being projected as a future top 3 player in the sport. This isn't just development, this is transformation at the highest level. But Cubs Nation, while we're celebrating the emergence of our future superstar and the continued excellence of our current one, there's trouble brewing in the front office that could determine whether this magical season continues or comes crashing down. Cubs fans, everything I've told you about Tucker's injury and PCA's meteoric rise has been building to this moment, the reality check that could define our entire season and future. President Jed Hoyer is facing the pressure of his career, and what he does in the next few weeks could determine whether we're celebrating a division title or watching from the couch come October. Here's the brutal truth. Hoyer knows we need pitching help, but the market is absolutely brutal right now. It's a seller's market, and teams are asking for the moon for even average starting pitchers. Hoyer himself admitted, "Certamente a tendencia é essa." The league is in a seller's market, and it's not looking good for buyers like us. Remember Sandy Alcantara, the ace we've all been dreaming about acquiring from Miami? Well, Cubs Nation, dreams can quickly turn into nightmares. Alcantara is posting a horrific 8.47 ERA, the worst among all starting pitchers in baseball. Miami's plan to boost his trade value by keeping him until the deadline is completely backfired. We're talking about a guy who's giving up more earned runs than anyone in the sport, and his value has cratered faster than our hopes during the 2016 drought years. Think about this for a moment. We have Ben Brown with a 5.77 ERA and Colin Rea at 3.97, and both of them look like Cy Young candidates compared to Alcantara right now. This is the pitcher we thought could be our rotation savior, and instead, he's becoming every team's worst nightmare. Cubs Nation, this is where everything comes together in the most heart-wrenching way possible. We have Tucker potentially injured, PCA playing like a future Hall of Famer, and a front office that might not be able to get the pitching help we desperately need. Hoyer is hoping that teams will get desperate closer to the July 31st deadline. But what if they don't? What if our championship window closes because we couldn't find that missing piece? The next few weeks will determine everything. Will Tucker come back healthy and continue his MVP caliber season? Can PCA keep up this otherworldly performance that has him projected as a top 3 player by 2030? And most importantly, can Hoyer pull off the miracle trade that gives us the pitching we need to make a real run? Cubs fans, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe because this story is far from over. We're living through history right now, either the beginning of another championship run or the cruel reminder that in baseball, timing is everything. The question that will haunt us all summer, is this finally our year, or are we destined to watch our dreams slip away once again? What do you think, Cubs Nation? Can this team overcome the odds and bring another championship to the friendly confines?